Please follow the lead. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, comments from the audience today. Seeing none, any corrections to the agenda or consent calendar? Any board members like to pull any items from consent, please? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move adoption of the agenda and consent.
Second. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Question, please. I have no other voting members.
We will not be using that today, because we have parties asking. So we'll just do it. We have a motion by Kelly, seconded by Nick, and the motion passes unanimously. Oh, I thought you did.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Let's go to 6A, Stanford Camp.
Good afternoon. I am here today to request authorization of the scope of services from water systems consultants to take the Stanford Camp electrical and generator building reconstruction project through design and construction for us. In May, staff authorized a task order with them to walk us through an alternative evaluation for different sites out at the Stanford Camp for the electrical and generator building. And we looked at a total of 5 different sites, including rebuilding in the existing location, which is in a known avalanche path. After a lot of deliberation, just yesterday, staff settled on a location that is located more in the heart of the Stanford Camp facility, very close to our existing SL2 pump station, and well away from the path of the avalanche. This location doesn't require any sort of supplemental protections based on where it's located, and it provides multiple points of access for our staff. So even when Stanford Camp is congested in the middle of summer, we should have good points of entry to get to the facility if we need to. With your authorization today for this extended budget, water systems consultants and HDR will begin work immediately to prepare some design drawings, and the intent is that we will be handing technical specifications and design drawings to one or more of our contractors that are currently under contract for construction projects, and ask them to provide us with a price rather than doing a full bid for construction. And so that sort of accelerated timeline, we are expecting to be able to at least get the underground work and the foundation and the start of the electrical work completed before winter, with the goal of being able to relocate all the temporary electrical facilities out of the avalanche path into the new site, even if we can't get the whole building constructed. So the schedule is put together, starts construction in September, and has the building completed by mid-December. But we all know that, weather can wreak havoc on the plan. So our primary goal is to get our electrical systems out of the avalanche path before winter.
Questions?
Just the sense of location. It's sounding like it's kind of near the marina.
quarters or no?
No, it's on part of the Stanford Camp property, behind, one of the main buildings.
Okay.
Yeah, so it will be congested there during the summertime. The current location, we were having to drive all the way through Stanford Camp to get to the building anyway. So, it's not a huge change from my perspective. This is a tighter site, in that there's a lot of buildings and stuff around it, whereas the original location is in the middle of the, maintenance yard. So, there's not very much elbow room here, but it's a much safer location.
Chris, what do you think? Access wise, you good with that? Yeah?
Where number 2 is located, if you look at the main lodge, the entrance to, I'm not familiar with it too much. The entrance to the main lodge is to the right, the end of the building. And that's where that road goes up and comes around the back of the lodge, then comes down by where they do all the produce and all the deliveries. And then to the left, the road goes and dead ends. That was our other alternative location, but everybody wasn't real fond of the idea of being on the dead end part of that road. If we're over on number 2, you can come up from the bottom, or you can come up from the main junction over there and come back around.
It's on a loop road, so you have multiple points of access.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is correct, it is a lot tighter, but I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be fine.
And, I guess, so with this agreement, they're gonna walk us all the way through permitting and everything.
So, under the emergency, we are not having to take the same, like, stepwise permitting that we would normally. But I have been in contact with TRPA, about, how do we navigate this? We've got this really short timeline. We want to begin building within 2 weeks after we have a set plan. And, they understand the predicament we're in. So I'm actually in the middle of drafting a letter to them that sort of explains exactly where we're at. And I talked to Wendy Jackson today, and she's going to help me walk through the process of getting basically an emergency permit.
So it's not being permitted to overall county?
No. So.
Right, but, I mean, I can imagine they might have some.
Yeah. So the two
anything does stop.
The 2 pieces of kind of like administrative work associated with the project that our staff are taking on is, the coordination with TRPA and then the coordination with Liberty, because with the new site and the new power prop. Also been in communication with them, and we have begun the application for the new power prop, and our contact there has said, get the application in, we'll walk it through. There's compelling benefits to Liberty as well as the district for us to move that facility, because the power pole is right next to the existing building, and it gets impacted in the network.
In the civil plans.
Yeah, so that, being in the heart of Stanford, I'm sure that they are going to want us to have some architectural features for this building to help it blend in. Whether that might be, because there's going to be a retaining wall, and we're going to go past, and the building will be on top of that. Whether it's like some sort of colored concrete or some sort of texturing on the concrete to make it more rustic looking. We'll see what we can do. Keep the cost down, but kind of satisfy their
And then defensible space for, basically reducing fire risk, that's kind of part of the plan, I'm assuming, that clears the vegetation in and around it.
Yeah, so, there's a few trees, in the vicinity of this location, but it's gonna be pretty tight if the trees are gonna remain. So we'll have to have a conversation about that once we get the layout kind of set. But we'll be using, concrete block construction. We will make the building as fireproof as we can. And yeah, we're mobilizing on Tuesday to collect the soils information that they need in order to start their foundation design.
If they want to go farther than we would normally go on architectural, do we have a mechanism for anything for betterments?
So That is, the discussions of easement and responsibility and that kind of thing, that is the other piece that the district is, taking on besides kind of these permitting pieces. And so, there is no mechanism in place right now. We've pulled the, easements for the original facilities, and we'll be looking through the terms of those. Yeah, getting with them to talk about any changes that need to be made.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like it's on the table, I guess, is the bottom line.
Okay, thank you. I talked to Dave Bennett this morning, he's the man that runs everything out there. The only thing we're concerned about is if we can just do it low profile, we don't have a big gaudy building in the back. They don't want a big old giant 12, 14-foot concrete wall, just something that kind of blends in low profile. So that's the only thing they talked about so far, and I think Julie can make that happen. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, so if they start taking in that direction, I guess it'll open up the door, you know, we'll get away with it, you know, I think we'll go with it. The other thing, easement, I didn't see where we're acquiring an easement for those, it sounds like it's gonna be on their property.
That's correct. Yeah, so the existing easement, so it'll have to be modified.
Surveys, was that in the survey scope? Because that was pretty small.
No, that is not in the survey scope, just yet. So, right now the survey scope is limited to like the topography and kind of site details around the facility, not the easement. But I've got a list of comments and questions for, the consultant on this scope of things that may not have been included.
Okay.
Just real quick, I just wanted to add one thing regarding this. So we did a very good, multi-departmental discussion on this yesterday, and we all kind of knew that none of the sites were considered perfect for everybody, and we just had to compromise. But due to the fact that, we're seeking FEMA funding to pay for almost the entire thing, we knew we could not rebuild in the same location because they definitely were not excited about paying to have something rebuilt and just make it knocked down again.
Any other questions? What's your desired action?
All right, I am asking that the board approve the proposal from Water Systems Consultants Incorporated to develop plans and specifications in support of the emergency replacement of the Stanford Camp Electrical and Generator Building, and authorize the, is it still intro? General Manager, to execute task order number 3A with Water Systems Consultants in an amount not to exceed $228,895.
Did you want to have a contingency with respect to the easement question?
Yes, sir. This has included contingency that cover easement or any of that was for that.
If things change in scope sufficiently enough that they feel that they need to ask for an increase, we'll come back. You know, these scopes often are a bit fluid as we move through the process, and so they may very well be able to handle the additional scope for survey for the easement within this.
Okay. I'll go ahead and move the action. A second. Move and second, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carried. Sorry, then we're just item 7, standing and ad hoc committees and liaison reports. Start with you, Kelly.
I got nothing.
Okay.
Executive committee met just before this meeting and the new attorney and went through a list of various items that Brownstein was handling and had discussion around which one will be moving forward with Brownstein and which ones will be moving to keep things.
I've got nothing, and I just want to put out there to staff that I've been Eldorado County in on if there's any issues or anything you would like to either recount or solicit my help on with Eldorado County specifically, please reach out.
I guess Monday we did have interviews for the general manager position. I think everybody's probably well aware. I'd also like to, I just want to thank staff, Julie especially, and everybody else that put in the time and effort to submit an application. It was a very tough decision, but I just want to say thank you for putting me out there, and appreciate it. Thank you so much for working with Paul, and hopefully everybody on staff is getting behind him and going to help support him.
Yes? You're not official until we sign your contract, so. The one on the English.
Okay, yeah,
And also, welcome Pete Collins, Jones Mayor, our new general counsel. First meeting here today, and, drinking from a fire hose, well, 2 times the Tahoe so far, so, we gotta get him out on the boat so you can see what the lake's all about. Okay, let's see, any board member reports, so, none, other than, or what was just there, just want to confirm that we're going to have meeting notes or meeting minutes for that special meeting on the 31st. It wasn't in the consent calendar, so, okay. It was just one action, and I guess Liz is going to have to wrap those up.
Melanie did put them together.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where they are, but they'll probably come.
Okay. Very good. Staff and attorney reports. Anything? That's it.
No, thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't have anything to thank you for the warm welcome and the opportunity to meet your time with staff and the opportunity to help community members in this part of California to see the benefit of your public service. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. All right. Let's go to general manager report.
Just a couple of things today, fairly quick. Staffing update, we're just about ready to start a recruitment for 1 underground repair water employee, and then following that, within a couple of weeks, we will start a recruitment for CFO. A couple other things, this time of year, it's pretty typical that Indian Creek Reservoir experiences an algae bloom, and it has come up this year, and it's above the parts per billion that we're having to now put warning signs up there. The limitation is 6 parts per billion, and last time we tested it came up with 6.5, so it's pretty close, but we're going to test again towards the end of this month and to see what the levels are.
You know, this is toxic corn?
It's the cyanobacteria.
Yeah. Some of it's toxic, some of it's not.
Okay.
Anybody know whether this is a toxic cyanobacteria kills dogs and stuff? It is.
The greenhouse.
It is. Okay. One other thing, I was notified this morning that due to the warmish temperatures I guess we've been experiencing, some concrete work is going to be done out of the secondary clarifier next week on the 10th of August. Is going to take place at 3 a.m. And so we're going to do some targeted messaging to the homes around the plant here to let them know what's going on. So in case you guys get any phone calls or anything, that's what's happening. Then just one other thing, I did want to point out, I don't know if any of you are scheduled to go to the COSTA conference next week. Have we signed up for that? Okay. Yeah, if you wanted to, you could probably still get in, but it's going to be tight and you need to get with Shannon and Melody like ASAP. You want to go to that one?
Where is it?
San Diego. Yeah. Another one that I always think is really good, and I thought some of you might want to at least take a look at the agenda, is the CSDA annual conference. It's in Monterey this year, and that's the last week of this month, so it begins August 28th. Their agendas, they're somewhat different than COSTA, which are obviously specifically for water and sewer. They're more just for general governance, but they always have a lot of really good educational sessions for elected officials. So I have a copy of the agenda if you guys would like one. And there's definitely time to still sign up for that one. And that's it.
Okay. I guess shout out to board members, all you got to do are sexual harassment training. You know that?
I have not done it yet.
There's a whole module for California that, good.
I did it yesterday. Well, I thought it was gonna boot me out because I was back down to the last two slides, and a bear went by, so I had to chase him out of the neighbor's garage. So I ran out and my bare feet and chased the bear around the neighborhood, and then came back in. So I finished up before the canceled it. Yeah, I got it once. Yeah, okay, that's gotta get done. All right, notice of past and future meetings are posted in the agenda. And, with that, nothing else, we're gonna go into closed session.